could I do to, put my resume? What could I do to stand out? And my tip was always like, do some CPS, study for certifications, take certifications. But we had two problems here. With certifications could be expensive for beginners, and CTF. I love CTF. Okay, I support CTF. I do a bunch of CTF with my students. But you need to keep in mind that you need to change your mindset when you are doing CTFs and when you start doing pen test or vulnerability research, because in real world scenario we don't have flags. So most of my students, was struggling in a real scenario because they are looking for flags. So there's no flags in the real world. Okay. And the industry demands experience. I think everyone knows here that any job, also junior opportunities, they are always asking for experience. So how could you have experience if you are a student, if you are a newbie, you are starting? So I was thinking, how could I help my students or helping the community so they could have some real world experience? So with that in mind was the beginning of our project. We are pretty recently. It was the beginning was November last year, and the idea was, I'm going to form a group with some students and let's do some vulnerability research. Let's try to publish some CVEs, but I was not sure if it's going to work, so I just started with two students. I just inviting them to, let's study together, let's research vulnerabilities in open source projects, and maybe we could, publish some CVEs. So pretty basic, pretty simple. And for start, we need a project. We need an open source project so we could do the research and maybe publish CVEs, okay? But we are thinking, okay, let's start, do some research, but how about not choose randomly projects and choose projects for some kind of meaning for our community? So just by Googling open source projects, Brazil, we found a bunch of projects and we came to this project here, Wegia software. It's social, it's a management software and is widely used in Brazil by social programs and NGOs. And here I have a few pictures of the nursing homes, orphanages, and pet adoption centers. They is using this software, and I have here the GitHub print, because when you start doing vulnerability research in open source, and you will find a lot of guides on the internet, and these guides are always saying, look for big projects, look for projects with a lot of stars, look for projects with a bunch of forks, a bunch of contributors. But sometimes this is not enough, because if you are only looking for this kind of project, we probably will miss this Wegia. It's amazing software, and we are doing, we are helping them. And here we go for we're calling wave one. So for the wave one, we got 48 CVs in all the CVs on Wegia project, Wegia software, and a bunch of any flavors of vulnerabilities, injections, broken authentication, etc. And you may be thinking, okay, you are a senior, you got a bunch of CVEs, but I was not the biggest finder. It was Elisangela, one of my students. She got 29 CVEs on these 48 CVEs. And also, this is our direct results, and also we have some indirect results. Like the Wegia developers came to us to, thank us, because we are doing, a lot of contributions on GitHub, and they, just Zoom me and we chat about it. What is the CV Hunters project, and explain to them, and they were completely open to us, and we start closing collaboration with Wegia. So we're still collaborating with Wegia. We do like retests for them, but entirely volunteer project. We don't want nothing with this, just experience. And also the first two students, they are now working as a junior analyst, information security analyst, and they told me that during the interview process, this was the only thing they could talk to the manager, to the HR, because it was their only experience. So in the interview process, they were explaining about vulnerabilities, how finding, what tools use, what techniques, methodology. So it was really good for these students. And we decided to, okay, now we know that this project is working. Let's expand, let's, invite more students, let's search for more projects. And also, another indirect results we got in Regia after the publications. Another researchers outside from our group also start doing contribution in the project, because when you publish a CV, the project name will be in a lot of database, vulnerability database. So other researchers could also, find some project, some small project like this is start doing contribution. So for the wave two, I invited 10 more students, and we decided to look for another project. Again, here I have the GitHub print, and it's a software. It's a Brazilian software. Portabilis is the name, and they have like two softwares, iEducar and iDiário software. Both are related to school management system, so it's used to insert grades and have teachers and everything on the platform. And if you see, the GitHub looks like a small, just 62 contributors, 10 another one, 4 issues. But the thing is, this project is really huge in Brazil. It's widely used by so many schools in Brazil, public schools. And I have some flags here from the city halls, but I don't know if you guys are familiar but with cities in Brazil, but they have like more than 2,000 schools using the software. And also the Brazilian Air Force is using the software too. And at this time, we reached the developers first and contact them to explain our project, talk about chat. So we did a video call, and I explained our plans, and they were completely open again to contributions. So we got 42 vulnerabilities, and we have 8 published CVEs in this project. But why only 8? Because the CVE has a life cycle. So you need to discover, you need to publish, and you need to wait the disclosure process. So we have a bunch of vulnerabilities is still in the disclosure process. And a few lessons here from our experience. First thing is, try to find project with GitHub Security Advisor enabled, so that way you could publish the CV, send the report directly on GitHub, and the developers could, talk to you, chat with you about it, and you could do everything inside the platform. Okay, so it's a good thing to do, because sometimes when you do this outside of GitHub, like maybe directly with Maitri, it could be taken so long, so they could, publish your CV. And also, another good thing to do is reach to the developers, because we did some contributions in other projects. I'm not saying their names, but you can see on the big picture over there, they just close our reports, and sometimes they also ask for retest. So we did the retest, but they didn't publish the CV. They simply close, and that's it. We could do nothing in this case. So try to reach out and see if they are open to collaboration, so to avoid this kind of mistakes that we did. And also, I have another one here. This one is for a huge project, a huge open source project, and they also did the same thing. ask for retest, ask for, check again. We did, but they simply abandoned the advisor over there. So when we start doing contribution in a new project, we are always asking for the developers if they are open to contribution, because we don't want to waste your time too. And also, VuDB, it's a CNA. It's a really good CNA. They publish the CV really fast, and could be a good thing do the publication with VuDB, because if the developers didn't respond, they will publish anyway. So if the developers will get a time to respond, but if they don't respond about the report, VuDB will publish the CV anyway. Okay, so wave 1 was a success, wave 2 too, and now we are in wave 3, and we are doing contribution with different kind of projects. Like we're still doing for Regia, for Educar, project that have, so much meaning for our community, for our around, but because we have more students, there are always asking, okay, let's put another project here. So we have, different projects and with different contexts. So I'm going to show you guys a few examples of vulnerabilities that you also could find in other open source projects, and also could publish your own CV and put in your resume, showing on your LinkedIn. I don't know, make your name, and maybe could help you get a job with a real experience, because it's a real experience. You are researching vulnerabilities. So first thing, do you guys know what is BOLA or BFLA? No? Who knows? Right? Raise your hand. Okay. So, okay. With simple words, I'm going to explain a little bit. So, both are related to API vulnerabilities, okay? So, BOLA, Broken Object Level Authorization, it's when you have a user, a normal user, basic user, seeing things he's not supposed to see. Like, maybe in the iEducar scenario, I'm a student and I can see teacher's information, or maybe another student's information, personal information. So, and I'm not supposed to do that. So this is a BOLA vulnerability. And BFLA, it's when you have a user, an unauthorized user, doing things they're not supposed to do, like changing passwords. Maybe I could do a API call to change the admin password, and with an improper authentication, I could change it. So it's a BFLA vulnerability. So with that in mind, I'm going to show you a video about one of our findings. It was found by Rafael, one of our students, and was found in this project, Indico software. It's a event management tool. Like a bunch of universities use this software to, put the event. You can enter and you can, sign in for being the event. And it's open source and widely used. Anyone here work at the CERN? No? So, okay, so we are safe. And who use the CERN is the company responsible for Indico, and they also use Indico. The UN use Indico, European Space Agency, they are using Indico, and in the GitHub status, you can see they look like pretty big. And I have here a video of the vulnerability, and then I'm going asking you guys if you guys think this is a vulnerability, and what kind of vulnerability is it. So this is the Indico software. It's a event management solution, so you can see a bunch of events on the main page. So when you do, like when you add someone to that event, the application does an API call for endpoint that will disclose all the user information. So in that part over here, when you simply add someone in the in the invitation. In the graphical interface, you cannot see any sensitive information, but when you check the request, you can see user one and its root. So a basic user is requesting the user one and getting all the user one information. And also, Rafael did a simple script to dump the database. You just need to put your credential, your cookie, and you can dump the entire database with name, phone number, emails, and etc. So what type of vulnerability do you guys think this is? Anyone? BFLA or Bola? No? Okay. So this is a Bola vulnerability because we have a normal user uh, getting access to information from other users. So first name, last name, and email. So it's basically the same thing, but IDOR is for related to web application and BOLA for APIs. But for me, it's the same thing, just changing the ID and getting sensitive information. So it's a fancy name for IDOR too, And okay, we got a lot of sensitive information on the platform, but the thing here with this one, we had a huge discussion with the developer in the advisor because for the developer, this is not a vulnerability. The application was designed to do that. So we were trying to explain, okay, but you need to change this. I can dump the entire UN database with a simple user with emails and etc. Or you need to put this in your website informing about this vulnerability. You need to inform everyone that are using your software that it's possible to do that. So after I think 2 weeks, they decided to publish the CVE. So we got the CVE for this vulnerability. You guys can Google it and check the POC and more information, And here we go for our first tip for our group. Every time we found a vulnerability, one of the good things to do is check in another endpoint the same vulnerability, because sometimes the developers will only only publish the correction for that endpoint. So again, in Indico, that time I was reading the documentation, the API documentation. It's a good thing to do too. I know sometimes it's extensive, but it's a good thing to do. Read the documentation, check the endpoints, functions, and I found another endpoint, this export user number JSON. But for this one, you need a API key, and you can get an API key inside the Indico platform. Just go to configurations, user, any user could do that. Okay, so you can grab your API key, your token, and just craft your request to grab users' information. So again, here we go again on Indico, same thing, but in another endpoint. I'm showing a newbie user with no access. You cannot access like the admin. I'm going to try to access admin, access deny. I'm an admin, so I'm a basic user. So let's go to Kaido and send the request with the API key so I can get my own information. And then let's simply change the number and we could get other users' information. So again, the same vulnerability in another endpoint. So every time I got new students and asked me, okay, what tip could you give me so I want to find my first CV, my first vulnerability. Check the past published CV on that project, because maybe you can find a vulnerability again in another endpoint, So again, we did a script, simple script, just to dump the database. And this one was in a real environment, but we were authorized to do it, so it's okay. Okay, and let's I'm going to show you guys an example of BFLA2. This one is pretty new, was published yesterday, so I just put here. I don't have a video because I didn't have a time to, to film and post a video in the presentation, but it's a broken function level authorization in the iEducar software. So a student with no access, or any user with no access, you guys can see here in the interface, there is no access here, just a blank page, you could not do anything. So by just, checking the documentation, we read about a module to update students' grades, and I think this is the dream of any student, change your own grade. So by just saying grades, I'm going to, in this message, it's in Portuguese, the response, but over there is English. Operation post, resource grades, and type success. So it was really fun, this one, because of the context, because it's, it's software produced by students, and anyone could change the passwords. And again, I was talking to the developers, hey man, you gotta be filling your API, and the developer was, oh man, we never think that someone will try to do that. So we need to rethink in our application to protect and to fix this issue. And one more example, this one was really fun too. Every time we got new projects, most of the projects came from the students. They came to me, hey, I saw this open source project, let's do some research. And okay, let's do it. And we got this SCADA software. And again, you can see the GitHub look like a medium project, I don't know, maybe small project, but it's SCADA. It's a web-based multi-platform to simulate SCADA environment, industrial environment. So it's used by Brazilian power plant Itaipu to simulate the entire electrical network of Brazil, and it's huge. It's a huge thing. And when I started the research on this project, the first thing I always do, it's another tip here, check everything that the user could change. So grab your basic payloads and just try to put in the application any place that you could put something. Try to insert cross-site script injection or SQL injection. Stay with your payloads in hands, and also if the application have a lot of CVEs published, you could grab some payloads and try in another endpoint too. So grab payloads from past CVEs and try it again in other endpoints. So it was 2 CVEs in about 1 minute, just with right before the installation process. We was directly going to the profile settings and putting payloads, and we grabbed 2 CVEs in 1 minute. And a few numbers of our group, we have 117 vulnerabilities found and reported. We lost a few ones, as I mentioned, because the developers didn't publish. 116 CVEs published so far, 20 active members, 20 students, 2 partnerships with direct partnership with developers, with GIA and the Portables. We have a close partnership with them. Maybe a hater, I think the Indicos dev was pretty pissed off with us. And 0 sponsorship so far. So if you know someone that wants to sponsor our project, let me know. And you guys could check all this data in our website. We have a page now, we have LinkedIn, and we are trying to, every time a student finds something new, we post on LinkedIn, we post on our blog post, and etc. So, we could give some credits for the students. And we are now collaborating with 8 projects. Sometimes not a close collaboration. We recommend you guys trying to do close collaboration, talk to developers and try to, reach them and explain the project. But Some big projects, they are not too open, so we do our thing and publish through VDB. And a few tips, there is no magic trick over here, so you need to study, man. If you are completely noob, you need to study. Nowadays, there are a lot of content on the internet, and I widely recommend API Sec University. They are great for API vulnerabilities. They have a bunch of free content. Also, Web Security Academy, you could, learn each vulnerability doing hands-on and studying groups. It's a good way because sometimes you will have a friend that know more than you, and you guys could share experience, helping each other. And if you are not so noob, you have a few skills. What is a vulnerability? You know how to explore some things. Try to look for a project that makes sense for you, for your community. Don't go randomly. You could go. There's no right and wrong here. You could, go randomly and choose any project that you want. But our objective is helping the community too, helping the cybersecurity community, and searching maybe in your college, maybe I don't know, in your church, someone is using an open source software, maybe in a social program in your neighborhood, so you could start doing some contributions. And also avoid to work with multiple projects because could be overwhelming, trying to collaborating at the same time with 10, 20 projects. We have 8 right now, but we have different students in different projects. So, and then we do also, like, if I have someone find a lot of, cross-site script injection, I ask the student to teach the other ones and stop searching cross-site scripting, go to another vulnerability. So when you feel comfortable, okay, I can find a lot of, I don't know, broken authentication vulnerabilities. Now I'm going to change to SQL injection. So you will, pass for all flavors of vulnerabilities. And ours, responsible disclosure, use GitHub security, contact the CNA to do the way. And a few more tips. Also, one project at a time, and also one vulnerability at a time. Don't get yourself, overwhelmed trying to search for all types of vulnerabilities. Most of my students, when they start, they are, like crazy, running softwares, running scannings, and trying to find SQL injections. And I calm down, man. Focus on one or two, and then when you feel comfortable, you change for another one because you will most of the times feel lost when you try to do everything at the same time. Set up your local environment. Don't do things in production environment that you're not allowed to do, that you don't have the permission to do. And also, this is a good tip too. Always have more than one user. You are testing an application, so you need to have basic user, an admin user, maybe in our case, in IDR, for example, a teacher user, so you can check different kinds of permissions and check if someone could do something they're not supposed to do or see something they're not supposed to see. And again, check for already published CVEs in the project. It will help you grab some payloads, understand the application, also try the same vulnerability, the same payload, the same exploit in other endpoint. You will have probably another CVE if don't they don't correct in the other endpoints. Okay, so before hacking, also try to understand the application before starting doing bunch of scans, bunch of testing. Install the application, open, try, test what you can do, what is the purpose of the application. I think in the Indico, I found Indico during a bug bounty program, and when I saw the software, I was talking to the students. Oh, okay, let's try this. Let's try research vulnerability in this project. So I think we were like 2 weeks by just testing, understand the application. So I set up a cloud environment with Indico and share with the students, and we were, like just testing things, and everyone with one user. And again, to avoid wasting time, try to reach out to the developers, talk to the developers about what you are doing, why you are doing this, and if they are open to collaboration, because if they not, it's better not waste your time. So go to another project that are open to close collaboration. And again, working groups. Now, form your own groups. You know, with your friends. I don't know, in your school, in your college, and you will have some fun with them. Sometimes we found fun stuff like the one for changing grades, and it's better doing groups. We will not feel alone. And how about the future? How about the future of this project? So the future is now. I'm here talking about the CVE Hunters project. I'm here trying to spread this idea. We are open, of course. We are not closed group now. We have a Discord channel. We have LinkedIn, etc., etc., and anyone could reach out and start hunting with us. But the idea here is you guys do the same thing in your community. Try to set up your own groups. Maybe we could do some partnerships. We could do some CVE Hunters chapter. I don't know. Maybe next year CVE Hunters chapter Noob Village. I don't know. We could do together, and maybe something more hands-on. And we are open to collaboration. If you have an idea, just hit me and we can work together in a chapter of our project, or I can help you, with ideas for your own group. Okay. We are also looking. We are talking now with the Rio de Janeiro Federal University. For the next year, we are going to have a CVE chapter in that college to, for the students, like a side project in the college, so they could, publish CVEs during the graduation. And here we are online now. We are on Discord and social medias and trying to spread this idea. So a big shout out to everyone on the group. Everyone on this picture here is a student and is a contributor to our group. And special thanks for Emily from Kaido. Also, n00b is now our preferred CNA to report vulnerabilities. Special thanks to Noob Village for you guys having me here today. And Josh, thank you very much. And again, it's the end.
So William, I will speak in Portuguese and after I can speak German. It's a pleasure to meet you here. I didn't know you. You are from a global,
Yeah, yeah.
biggest media company in Brazil. I'm very happy to see you make a presentation in the best report hacker in the US for the guys around the world. I suggest everybody to make applause for
Thank you very much. You guys can reach me out on LinkedIn, send me an email if you need any help, so we could work together. Okay, I reply everyone, so reach me out.